Welcome back, everybody, to Quake Pro League. I am 40 Lions, joined by ZSX and MC Wheat. And yeah, sorry about the mix-up. All the talk about rap has led us to freestyle a little bit. We're actually bumping up Rapha versus Sib. Maxter versus Saiga is going to be the last set of the day, so we're flipping the script a little bit. But I think everyone is going to be okay with that. Dan and Wheat, we had quite the chat, but we're going to switch gears. Rapha, Sib, talk to me about it, Wheat. How do you feel about this series?
I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. Rafa is on another tear this season. He has yet to lose a single map. He's 12-0. He's 4-0 on series. He's looking stronger than ever in our interviews with him. He clearly has stated that he sees the ceiling raise amongst many of both regions. And frankly, I think what that translates into is Rafa putting in more time than, and energy into improving his own game than he's ever had. While Sib did make it through relegation and into the official league, this will undoubtedly be his toughest matchup that he will face, along with just about everyone else in the Americas region. So, I make it pretty simple. I think Rafa is going to walk away with a 3-0 here, and Sib ultimately is going to try to have to rely on picks and bans to hopefully give him some sort of a leg up here in this matchup.
I would agree. Dan, it looks like you have a thought sprouting out of your head there. Well, what do you think?
I have many thoughts, but for this
you
one,
got a
I'm
tree
thinking,
pointing out of your head. It's amazing.
For this one, I'm thinking, like in a normal sense, if this was any other game, like even any other scene, right? You come up to it, you say, oh, they're going against the bench at the best. It's good to see like how this is the benchmark of where they're at. This isn't that. I think Rafa's just too good. Like there's no other scene or anyone like that's defining a game like Rafa where you could even test yourself against him. I think he's that dominant where this match is almost a write-off, and it's like it's 3-0, move on. This doesn't matter.
Yeah, sorry, I was regaining my composure. Deep Embrace Veil and Exile is going to be the map list for this series. We got Athena versus Doom, Scale versus Keel, Ranger versus Sorbet on Exile. And yeah, I mean, regardless of even if Sib got his clutch pick that we know that he likes, I just do not see a world in which Rafa drops a map. It's just he's on such a tear. He's so on point. It seems that he plays better and better after every week, which is almost impossible. But this is the most uphill battle, as Wheat said, of Sib's entire run through Stage 3. But any given Sunday, I mean, he could absolutely blow some minds. I just don't think it's going to be this Sunday. I do not see it happening, but anything can happen. So we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, on Sundays, I hope to be surprised and delighted every single week. So, I'll get out of my chair if something like that happens, but I definitely will stick to my guns here. And I think this will be a Rafa 3-0.
That's not even a slight on Sib, any of this, because he's actually been like, as for a newcomer in like kind of tinted terms, because he's already been in the league, but as someone who's come back into the league, he's put in some really good performances and is taking maps consistently off of virtually everyone he plays. So he's definitely stable in his play and in the league. It's just how good Rafa is at this point in time. It's just unbeatable.
99%. In
Who's
terms of predictions,
scalpers out there? Who are you?
Look, I mean, if you predict the under, you have nothing to lose, really. So
except points. But I mean, in terms of like the context of the picks, because we didn't even speak about them, I actually think Sib's done a pretty good job. Like Rafa's pushed the boat out a little bit in picking Athena straight off the bat when there's other champions available. The respect ban of the clutch shows his line of thinking that he never takes anything for granted. So I think in terms of the way the drafts has gone, Sib's actually put himself in a pretty strong position, but it's still Rafa. He's still got his own picks that he favors as well. Thank you, production. But it's pretty even otherwise.
The scale keel on Veil, I think is going to be a fun one, right? Just because you got two heavyweights kind of battling it out. But I still feel like scale, kind of takes that one, right? What will be interesting is that when Rafa play, shush, you shut your mouth right now. Rafa likes to play scale very in your face, right? I mean, we've seen it, and it will be, how will that mix with the the pineapples of Keelan? we'll see. The Athena pick, I am not actually surprised to see. We've seen Rafa pick it up a few times here, not necessarily on Deep Embrace, but that has been one of the areas. Talk a lot about it, in terms of just like having to play that perfect grapple game, and then ultimately it coming down to, how's your aim doing today? So I'm excited to watch Rafa on Athena. I always think that's a treat.
Yeah, no, I agree. Athena's normally a risky pick, but when you know it's Rapha, it's not a risky pick. It's just an advantage, if anything. But again, Exile, Sorlag against Ranger. Sorlag's a great pick there. And we saw Keel versus Scalebearer on this particular map, just the map before. And it was very close. Keel held his own, but I agree that the pace Scalebearer can play at can just ruffle the feathers of Keel.
Yeah, it might be really, really rough. And again, I think it's up to Sib to determine exactly how things go. It's I would imagine that in his head, it's kind of a I have nothing to lose, everything to gain situation for him, because you're facing the end boss, the 3-time in a row champ. It's just like, this is purely a learning experience. And if you could put a map up or maybe even take the set, you'll just shock the entire Quake community. And if you happen to fall, it's Rafa. Like, no one's going to hold it against you and be like, I can't believe you lost to Rafa. You know what I mean? So yeah. I think this is just a really good opportunity for Sib to flex and show everybody in the Quake Pro League that he can hang with Rafa. Even if he drops the maps, but he keeps it within 2 or 3 frags, I think that's going to be an incredible outcome.
I feel like that's an incredible outcome for just about anyone who's played playing Rafa in the Americas region, honestly. What was it? Last week, he played Nosfa. It was 18-4, 26-9, and 17-9 in those 3 maps. So, I mean, if that's any indication of that scoreline, like, Nosfa's looking good, but still, had some trouble posting frags up there. So, we'll have to see. What'd you break this time, 40? Like,
I don't know. I just keep breaking things that I don't even know anymore. I just keep hitting buttons. It's bad. They're shiny. Yeah, I'm assuming we're almost ready. I don't know. I tree Dan over there. Why don't you go ahead and leave, and then just leave me and
wow.
Wheat to it. You like that? Because he's got a tree coming out of his head. But yeah, I think Wheat and I can handle this. Dan, go take a break, have some protein powder, and chill out.
He's never been more excited to leave the caster desk.
I love kicking him out. It's the best feeling. Wheat, once again, happy Father's Day. It's a pleasure to be here with you on
buddy.
Quake Sunday. And looking forward to this one. Again, I feel like Sib, his back is up against the wall, but you have nothing to lose. I feel like you try and just go into this as calm as you can, put on a great performance, and regardless of what happens, you really don't have anything to lose but everything to gain.
Yep. And, I mean, look, we talked a lot about it, and Rafa is an anomaly, right? He is one of the greatest Quake players to ever live. And so someone might tune into this, be like, wow, these casters are real assholes. They're like, not. But this is the reality of, talking about the best player in the world playing against anyone. It's sort of like insert name here. And as we get through and in the finals, like, Rafa's looking for the quad father title going into this stage, and I feel like he is more fired up and powered than we've ever seen him before, which is a pretty scary thing. But for Quake fans, it's a great thing because we get to watch it all unfold live.
Absolutely agree, and I've heard it, so I didn't break it completely. We are going to get into the first map here shortly, Wheat. Sorry for the delay again, everyone. Chat, I know some people tuning in, they wanted to see Cygib Maxter. That's going to be at the end of the day. We bumped this one up. Again, freestyling from all the hip-hop speak that we were talking about earlier. So this is going to be Rafa versus Sib. We're going to be on map number 1. It's going to be Deep Embrace Athena versus Doom. And yeah, again, Sib has nothing to lose, everything to prove here, and Rafa just trying to make it business as usual, but it starts with map number 1 on Deep Embrace. Wheat, always a pleasure, and we are live here on Rafa, and Rafa's got that Athena.
Yes, he does. And, what are we going to be looking for out of that Athena, right? Grapple, hold on. We have the first engagement take place there. It's actually going to see grapple used as an escape, right? There's a couple different ways that Rafa is going to be utilizing this as an escape, obviously to try to create sort of offensive plays, and then also just for positioning, right? A lot of positioning needed on this with the Mega and the Heavy being where they're at, whether it's trick jumps or whether it's using the grapple. That's kind of what I expect to see, but it's always interesting just to watch Rafa kind of unleash that. And on the other side, with Doom, a little bit different, right? Like, is not really using the ability too much in this matchup, but trying to use the mobility as much as they possibly can. Pretty quiet here in the first minute, 40, as Rapha showing all the respect, and Sib the same, looking for where Rapha might be. Other than those few rockets at the front, we haven't really had much of an exchange.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I mean, Rafa knows how important it is to gain momentum, especially with that light champ. Just because she's super mobile doesn't mean he can take any crazy fights or any big risks. He does spot out the Mega. He's going to double back for the heavy. He's going to be able to cut off, and there it is! Sib off the map! No!
Honestly, 40, that's why you just have to be careful with Rafa on Athena like that, right? Being able to quickly get there. I think Sib thought, you know what, I've got this on the rocket jump. Unfortunately, they met and kissed mid-air, and kissed with a rocket, sending Sib off the map, awarding Rafa that first frag.
Yeah, just right off the map, and Rafa, again, perfect timing on the heavy. Rough start for Sib, but still only one down, 2 minutes in, so nothing terrible, but he does need to be very careful of his next play. Good tri-bolt there to suss out exactly where he is around the pillar. Sib trying to fight for this Mega, but goes down. Now, it's going to be a matter of can Rafa keep the aggression up off the spawn. Tries to protect that rail. Stinky spots out Sib. Good LG from Sib there, making sure that Rafa doesn't aggress. Rafa having to burn one of those hooks. The ledge jump not really working in his favor. Good machine gun from Sib, keeping the pressure on, but heavy will go to Rafa uncontested.
Yep, 2-0 here is we're going to have a fight in the Mega once again. More Tri-Bolt coming out, and that Tri-Bolt sort of spotting, the scouting that was done by Rafa early, that not only surprised Rafa a little bit, but just dished out a ton of damage. And now we're going to have Sib coming in from the top with the LG out. He does do a nice bit of damage, but not enough to get the frag. Now on the chase, double rail coming out from Rafa, and got to be careful here with that heavy. He's going to use the hook to grab it up, and then a shotgun to finish up that frag. Sib did get incredibly close to bringing Rafa down, but Rafa, again, using that grapple to give himself the positioning that he wanted, and ultimately his fourth frag.
And just really good weapon utilization from Rafa. Switching to shotgun when he needs to, doing big rocket damage, using LG to initiate. Like, just really, really good plays from Rafa. And Sib, again, still 4-0, not too bad, especially on Deep Embrace against a light. If he can maintain this position, keep it close, and break his way into a frag, depending on the spawns, he could roll it back and get closer and closer to tying this up and potentially taking the lead.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen Sib try to control that center top area, which is obviously a place where I think a lot of players do want to be holding on to. Easy access and shots from just about every position. You can use audio cues to kind of hear where your opponent might be coming from. And it's these rails that are door openers, 40, right? Every single time Rafa finds himself landing a single rail, you see him just kind of turn up that aggression and then go for it. And they have been kind of teeing off every single frag that he has been able to get. There's going to be another one as Sib is doing his best to stay out of eyesight of Rafa, but alas, it's a tough thing to do. 6-0. We're about halfway through this matchup.
Yeah. No signs of stopping from Rafa, just getting more and more momentum as item control firmly in his favor. A little bit of tri-bolt not landing, so Sib may be able to maintain this position, but that rocket is huge as Sib just wanted to get a rail, and Rafa says absolutely not.
I mean, 98 points of damage, you might as well just count it as a direct. It was close enough, and there's the stopwatch for the heavy once again. Immediately, Rafa going up to that top, and this time he did find Sib in that middle area, but unfortunately, Sib just didn't have a stack to be able to fight with, and there we see a grapple back up to the top to regain control. I don't know if that's going to work, but he's going to give it a shot. Sib trying to punch his way to his first frag, and Rafa dispatches and handles Sib easily.
Yeah, just keeping the distance, knowing exactly what to do against the Berserk, knowing that, you know, if I get close and try and go toe-to-toe, that's where the problem occurs. And shotgun up close, Sib may be able to get this one, but the LG too strong, 64 HP, and oh look, there's a Mega, as Rafa knows when to time these fights, knows exactly what items he has to back up onto after the fights, and takes a commanding 9-0 lead on Deep Embrace.
Yeah, I mean, that was like, I mean, you might call it a mistake from Rafa, right? Going through, he had an idea where Sib was. Sib gave him a mouthful of buckshot. But he also then made the smart decision of just backing off, putting himself on the lower level with something between him and Sib, and then just going for LG. It was the right thing to do. There wasn't going to be an easy way for Sib to try to regain control on that or to chase for that frag. So nicely done is Rafa right now sitting with a perfect game 9-0, all starting with that initial rocket off of the map there, and another one. And again, you know, I mean, this mobility that we're seeing from the Athena has been absolutely phenomenal and working out great for Rafa.
It's just super, super consistent. Again, Rafa, kind of one of the first players to really utilize Athena and really show the world what Athena could do. And I like that hook. Sees Sib, does not want to go straight into an LG fight. Good rail from Sib there. But unfortunately, just can't string the damage he needs to get on the board, at least for the time being. As Rafa has a commanding 10-0 lead, and just item control makes it look easy, as Sib just not showing up to even deal damage on some of these wheat. And it's just going to get worse from here. He's got to start making plays.
Yeah, and I think these plays start with that rail. It's exactly what he was trying to do. He did land one, but unfortunately the next three just didn't connect at all. And Rafa just noticing, oh my God, what a chase from the bottom to the middle. The grapple to the shotgun, 11-0 now. But you take a look at things, 12 heavies for Rafa, 8 megas, and 10 lights. And on the flip side, 1 heavy for Sib, 4 megas, and then also 10 lights. And the damage delta is about 1,000 more here for Rafa. As he's hitting those rails, he's getting a lot of unanswered damage as well. Here's another one as Sib goes through for those double health in the middle. And Rafa easily dispatches once again with that shotgun. Got less than 2.5 minutes left to go, and Sib's just looking to try to get on the board here.
I would say yes, but it looks like maybe he's not, as he's just kind of posted up, maybe trying to set a trap here on Rafa, but Rafa trying to suss out exactly where he is and just taking all the items and taking full map control. He says, if you're going to give me all this property, I'll take it. I'll build some condos, vacation home, whatever. 12-0, 2 minutes left. And Rafa looks like he's going to take this map number 1 very, very easily.
Yeah, Rafa's still kind of wondering, where is my opponent? And there he finally saw him coming through the teleporter, though. It's not going to work out too great for Sib. I think he might have actually been surprised by Rafa while trying to surprise Rafa. And he finds him again, grappling through that telly. And then, the pixel rail. What an angle it was, 40.
Yeah, and, you know, Sib kind of just taking a knee, maybe a breather, trying to reassess the strategy going into map number 2, which is completely fine. But Rafa saying, you ain't going nowhere. Chases him down by that telly and just keeps adding on to the frag lead here. Stacking bodies, Weed.
I mean, that's exactly what he's doing here. And unfortunately, Sib just not able to pull much together. The lightning gun comes out, does hit a couple rails, will force Rafa out, but what can happen here in the final minute? Sib so very low, and there it is, the single buckshot to finish him off. 15-0, and Rafa's played, you know, a perfect game here with his Athena.
Yeah, I mean, we thought that Rapha would kind of take this one. I didn't realize it was going to be quite like this, but and even the read, he knows exactly where Sib wants to hide, and he's not letting him do that, Weed. He's making him play the full 10 minutes. There's no rest when you're playing against Rapha.
As he's just dancing around the teleporter looking for something, anything, 40. And that dance is not going to bother Rafa as all. And this dance-off, Rafa would be saying, you got served. And there it is, the shotgun in the back. But in the final 10 seconds, it looks like there will not be a frag for Sib. And unfortunate, but really just needs to set his sight on the next game, as the final score of this one is going to be 17-0. And quite... Hey, sorry, like the cats just opened up the door. I'm not even sure how, but suddenly I have like 3 cats.
The cats were even like, stop the fight. What? Stop the fight.
How did this happen? Where did you come from? Sorry.
It's totally fine. It's totally fine. 17-0 is going to be the final score on map number 1, as it started with a bang right there, knocking them out of the park. And from there on, it was just the Rapha show. And even the breather that Sib was looking for, he wasn't allowed. Rapha would not allow it. So really dominating performance, just stifling Sib. And again, I've said this before, but this was kind of like what Ketchup says sometimes, where you just didn't even allow your opponent to play the game. Sib wasn't allowed to play Quake, at least on this map, and it was all just Rapha. So Sploosh is in the chat if you are a fan of Rapha and Liquid. Turkey Legs in the chat if you want to give him some energy to try and clap back on map number 2. It's going to get thicker, Wheat, on this one. We're going to get Scale and Keel on Veil. It should be a little more up-tempo. I mean, Sib's going to have more of a stack, more weight to throw around, so to speak, so it should be interesting. But yes, it's rare that we see that in the Quake Pro League. 17-0 for the recap, as we see the damage firmly in favor of Rapha, the items firmly in favor of Rapha, and just dominating performance there from the champ.
Yeah, I mean, making it into the Quake Pro League is a tough and tall order in and of itself. And once you're here, then you've got to go up against all of the great talent. And Rapha is going to prove why he is one of the best in the world with that 17-0 victory. But as I mentioned, 40, you know, sometimes you just have to let sleeping dogs lie and move on. And this is exactly what Sib needs to do. Veil, we see 2 heavies going to be duking it out. Now, I do think that Scale is one of, you know, Rapha's, I mean, what champion isn't he good on, I guess, is the question. But Scale is one that he clearly really enjoys playing. And from what I've seen in a lot of cases, can be frustrating to players because you wonder what your plan of attack is against someone who just wants to get in your face so hot and heavy.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Scale play on Molten versus Wenger, the comeback of the century, you know, in my opinion, during the stage finals. That was absolutely insane, and he did it with Scale. So no stranger to Scale, loves throwing around that weight, dropping the shoulder, and just getting big damage. And I feel like we might see more of that, especially on Veil, because it is close quarters. You can get up close and personal, and a little bit of buckshot, just in case the shoulder itself doesn't pancake the opponent. So taking a quick look at the predictions, 99% for Rapha, and I you know, you can't even really hate on that weight. You just can't. The way that Rapha's playing right now is, it seems insane that it's not 100.
I mean, you know, there's always going to be someone out there chasing those prediction points, and I can respect it. I appreciate it. So, of course, as we're loading in our next map, Veil, you're going to see Rapha with that giant belt around his waist on Scale, and you've mentioned it before. In fact, you were the one, I think, who gives all the credit for dubbing potential another stage win as becoming the quad father. It's not something that we've ever seen in Quake, so the storyline of Rapha remains very, very interesting as we head on through stage 3 and eventually to the finals. Sib is currently the one standing in his way, and you think he just wants to be able to run right through him. We're going to find out if he can do that right here on Veil.
Yep, loading up. I hear it in the headphones, and yeah, it's you know, everyone is standing in Rapha's way, and he's got his eyes on the prize, and he's very measured, one map at a time. But big picture, he's definitely thinking about the quad father. He's going to get that suit tailored if he has anything to do with it. But we'll see. Sib is standing in the way on Veil. We'll see if he could be a thorn in his side. I mean, any given Sunday, doesn't matter. This is why we're here. This is why Sundays are amazing, because they're for Quake. And we are live on map number 2 between Rapha and Sib right now on Veil. On Rapha, and he's got Scale and the heavy already potentially looking for a fight.
Oh, and look at that. First rocket hit immediately going into the bull rush, and didn't really get much out of it, but it's all good. It might have just been a way to make sure that he could control whatever fight he wanted to control. He does find Sib as he comes out from the lower area. Gets a little bit of LG damage on him, but I think is going to get ready to set up for heavy once again, and I would expect we'll see a lot of action happening around there. Sib waiting outside that teleporter. Bull rush coming out again. He does donk him and then follows up with the LG. The Mega is up, but instead, Rapha will head over to the Heavy, put a little bit more time and a few seconds on that Mega. It is picked up by Sib, but through the teleporter, rails are exchanged, and will Rapha find a second frag?
Wow, he already hit one rail through the grate, goes through, and Sib gets caught looking. 2-0 for Rapha. Really nice play there from Sib to rocket ship up and at least deny the Mega earlier, but Rapha still comes out on top. Big shot, good pineapple. This could be it. This could be a frag for Sib through the Thunderdome. Can he do it? The rocket's not landing. The pineapple dodge is incredible from Rapha. And finally, Sib gets the buckshot he needs to take down Rapha and put himself on the board.
Unfortunately, off the spawn, Rapha brings it right back, and I think that was every single grenade used there by Sib. And trapping him into the corner, a bull rush, and punished with the shotgun. And dare I say, does Rapha look like mad in game?
Rare footage of Rapha actually angry for those fighting game fans out there. 15 HP, slaps him down with another rail, and I don't know if it's anger so much as just, you know, I have this weight to throw around with Scale, so I'm going to take the fight to you over and over.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, don't let me put words or emotions into Rapha's mouth.
Nope, it's already all over TMZ. You already started.
Yeah, like... Wheat calls out the frustration and anger from Rapha. He's out of control. There we have a rocket jump from Rapha up to that Mega to take it away. Remember, with a little bit of time to separate these two major items, that will make for interesting battles at each of these spots. Now Rapha jumping across, knows that that heavy is coming up soon. A little bit early to it. The LGs come out. We're going to have a duel here in the center. But it is Rapha who easily gets the frag and then ultimately grabs that heavy. And off the spawn, this is probably the place, of course, where Sib is going to be the most vulnerable. Obviously, not without Arsenal, but Rapha is going to come in and really try to force the damage there on his opponent. Sib, hurting once again, gets tagged 7-1, and we're only 2 minutes and 40 seconds into this matchup.
Oh my god, the rocket into the shoulder, into another rocket, and Rapha... Yeah, really opening this one up early. 3 minutes in, 7 frag lead, and you're absolutely right. It's looking a little brutal right now, Wade. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's always interesting when the Scale just ignored. Oh, there was
nice
a great rail
Sib.
by Sib. All right, you know, Rapha sticking around without a whole lot of health and armor, but Rapha having a good idea that he did a lot of damage to Sib, and he was right. He follows through and chases that frag off the spawn, easily gets it with that machine gun. The grenades are doing some work, but it's still a Scale who kind of like laughs in the face of these grenades, and these rails from Rapha that keep coming out are quite nice. He's shooting a 53% rail right now with 15 shots taken and 8 of those actually hitting. Rapha now kind of clearing off the rest of the items, including trying to keep those light armors away from Sib as well, because you know, if you don't have a stack versus Scale, what do you do?
Yeah, just that rocket was so incredible earlier. 100 damage rocket. Now looking for a little bit more, almost hitting it. A Sib trying to fight back. The bull rush, actually a little bit of a flub there from Rapha as he gets caught on the wall. 10-2, bull rush is burnt, and Sib should be able to take advantage of this situation at least a little bit. Maybe not breathing room, but at least stopping the bleeding as we're getting closer and closer to the midway point of this map.
Yeah, I mean, Sib did cause Rapha to kind of slow down there a little bit, and that's a tiny victory, and what he needs a string of a ton to kind of bring this one back together. But he's already netted 2 frags over what he picked up last time. But now coming down from the bottom. Oh, eats a rocket to the face up top. The rail, oh my gosh. As the bull rush then coming out just to sort of get some extra speed to grab that light and that Mega, and now on the chase, knows exactly where Sib is, has to dodge the pineapples coming out, and back up to 96 now, so he's definitely engaging in these fights, and Sib is doing better now than he was in the earlier moments with those grenades, but he is keeping Rapha at bay.
Good vertical rail there from Sib. Rapha actually needs to be careful with the stack here. Not looking too great. Stacks about even. Sib going through the telly, not landing the damage he wants, and now he's caught in a very bad way, and the buckshot will take him out as the rail's just not lining up for Sib.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, the rails, we've seen a couple coming out by Sib, but that's where really he could be stepping up his game quite a bit, or at least be a bit more effective, right? I mean, Rapha's hitting these rails. Sib has hit a couple and even one to clean up, but these rails hitting, and then the chase that ensues, right? You could stop Rapha by landing a few more of those rails. I mean, easier said than done. I know I'm like, God, it's just so easy, Sim. Just land more rails. But as what we've seen in this matchup, hold on, the bull rush, a couple of grenades coming through. Nicely done by Sib, missing a few of those shotgun blasts, but more grenades coming out, and Rapha just stands his ground and grabs another one, 12-2.
And just the aggression from Rapha really taking the fight to Sib, saying, I am taking these fights, and if you hit your shots, great, and if you don't, I'll make you pay. 12-2. And it's a little bit rare to see Rapha kind of do it that way, as Sib playing around that churro beautifully, making sure to avoid the oncoming assault from Rapha, as Rapha, again, it just feels like he's hunting right now.
He does, and he might find himself or feeling a little similar to what he did last time, is once again, up there he found him, hiding once again, and oh my
rockets are
God.
so strong.
A bouquet of rockets, 40, like happy Father's Day on that one. As there's another one, 14-2, that was nasty.
Yeah, Rapha definitely the daddy right now. 14-2, 3 minutes left. Bull rush into the corner, more buckshots. Sib, you have nowhere to go. And Rapha just piling on the body count again.
He is now. It went up pretty fast, and then things slowed down a little bit, partially because Sib chose to slow it down and put Rapha on the hunt, but now Rapha is kind of going into gear 5 now. LG to the rail combo, Tri-Bolt coming out to try to finish this one off. Does do about 40 damage there, and then gets that final hit for the frag. 16-2 now, as Rapha has clearly found his groove.
Unfortunately for Sib, Rapha has found the groove, but this one is just firmly in the hands of the champ. 16-2, a little over 2 minutes left, and at this point, it's just try and save your energy for map number 3. Got hit with the boop, he hit him with the boot sweep.
He Goomba stomped him, 40. He was Mario for a second there. It was just beautiful.
Can't run away, they'll find me. That is just 18-2. And Rapha's playing this till 10-0-0. There's no signs of stopping.
Yeah, I mean, Rapha is at this point just looking, and Sib doing a lot of.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
I mean, and setting up some nice potential frag movie selects.
Yeah, this is Rapha, number 2, coming to a YouTube link near you. 19-2, a minute 20, and he knows all the hiding spots. He went directly for where he thought Sib would be. He does miss him this time, as he's like trying to find him, just misses. So Sib hitting him with a little bit of counter strike on that one.
Yeah, I went right past him too. I thought he was going to see him, but allegedly he did not. As Rapha finds himself without an opponent here, looking around, he still just cannot find him. As it is true game of keep away here. There it is, the shotgun coming out into the pummel. Sib going for it, even throwing a grenade for good measure, but it's not going to happen. And Rapha will hit 2-0 on this one.
2-0 indeed, and it looks like Sib was hoping that Rapha wouldn't break 20, but unfortunately he just couldn't run away. Couldn't run away from it, and even the gauntlet on gauntlet action. And Rapha decides, you know what, I hit you with 2, but let me finish with the buckshot. 21-2 right now, and I thought he got a glimpse, maybe? He did indeed. As the gauntlet comes out, a little bit of pineapple as well, but Rapha reigns supreme again with the shotgun. 22-2. And we still have another map, so I don't know if people knew they were going to tune into a snuff film. But here we are, Quake Pro League action, week 7. Rapha goes up 2, takes the series, and we're going to head over to Exile. It's going to be Ranger versus Sorlag next week. We
will, and Rapha just clearly showing dominance here in Deep Embrace and in Veil. 17-0 in the first game, 22-2. And we did see a couple frags from Sib there. He did have some nice rails, was able to follow up. Early was getting some decent grenade damage, but still not enough. Rapha using that bull charge to either mitigate some of that damage and or Goomba Stomp right on top of the head of Sib, but clearly a little outmatched in that one, as Scale proves to be. There was that double bounce or that triple bounce rocket that we saw there in the back hallway. Just beautiful. It was a frag movie, and then another one there is a bounce off of the wall. But 22-2, and moving on to Exile now. Ranger versus Sorlag. I don't know. Any thoughts on this one? I kind of feel like we were talking a little bit about the rail and that opening up doorways and possibilities. Rapha using that a lot more in map number 2. But similarly, rail has been a really defining weapon on Exile in many cases.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Sib approaches this one. I mean, Ranger versus Sorlag, Sib should have the movement advantage with the Sorlag and the Spit as well. So that comboed with shotgun up close can be really, really big. Of course, Rapha has the Dire Orb to escape and or do burst damage to finish the kill if it gets a little too crazy. But in terms of just overall strategy, I wonder if Sib, I mean, obviously he feels a little bit overwhelmed. We could see in map number 1 and 2, it was literally like he was just taking a knee, like, please stop the punishment. But at a certain point, coming out swinging in early on in the game to maybe gain momentum, that has to happen now. This is the last map of the series, so I'd like to see him come out of the gate swinging a little bit harder. We've seen him hit some great rails and some good rockets, but there needs to be more. It's a little bit one-dimensional, it's a little bit flat, and I mean, going against Rapha, again, no easy ask at all, but yeah, there's got to be a little bit something coming out from Sib's side.
Yeah, I mean, I have to sit here. It's easy to be on the viewer side and right, critique this, but when you really put yourself into a player's position, you know, are you playing to minimize the score of Rapha, or are you playing to win, right? And either is kind of a huge mountain that you're climbing, but you have to imagine that right, both have a different strategy. I'm not sure exactly which one Sib might be going for, but I kind of understand why we're seeing some of the play that we're seeing. I mean, just watching Rapha, he is a beast. I do not want to be in these shoes experiencing what is being experienced here. But I don't know. It's got to be sort of a rough mentality to kind of be in, especially after these first two games. I don't know.
I completely agree. At a certain point, you just have to go for it and say whatever happens, happens. But at the same token, nobody wants to be the guy that had 50 put up on him. So I'm just saying, maybe taking a knee isn't so bad. But map number 3, again, I said at the beginning of the set, Sib doesn't really have anything to lose. So just come out swinging, play the game that you want. Try and come up with a strategy or something, see if it works. This is the time to test and play around with whatever you may bring to the table, because this is the result that everyone already thought. So it's not going to be any different. So just, get in there and try your best, because again, you're playing the end boss of Quake Pro League. There's no shame in it. Like, a lot of people struggle to play Rapha. You're not you're not in the minority here. Like, this is the end boss. Just bring your A game, and whatever happens. There's really nothing to feel bad about.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And, Rapha right now looking to hold on to that undefeated streak in terms of maps and series that he is in. And as we kick things off here in our final map, Rapha's won the series, but it's not over yet, as we've got our last map, Exile, and we're going to see Sib get that heavy. Rapha grabbing the Mega, and did try to hold off on the rail there at the very front, but Sib did manage to get his hands on one. Rapha's going to land that first rail, then dropping down with that Hyper Blaster, boom, into the corner, and Rapha picking up his first frag.
2 really big rails as well. Decent rockets here as Sib just trying to hang on, drops on the LG, and that could be the death of him, and it is the rockets. Pixel perfect from Rapha, going up 2-0. Nice little rocket jump after the heavy pickup, using that Ranger passive and making sure that he grabs both items, and within 43 seconds has full map control.
And this is like the real scary part, 40, right? I mean, Rapha's always looking to lock down control and an iron lock of control, and getting both of these major items as well as their timings, to which I'm not sure that Sib is fully aware of. That is exactly where Rapha wants to be. I didn't expect him to be there this early in the matchup, but alas, here we are. He's up by 2. He just picked up the heavy. The Mega is now up, and he will grab that, adding a few more seconds between these two.
And I really like the rocket jump earlier that we saw as he forces Sib through the telly. A little bit of a delay, and then finishes off with the buckshot again. Just making it look easy is Rapha. But the rocket jump from the heavy up to the tri-ball, really, really nice movement there from the champ as Sib goes up the jump pad. Decent buckshot. Good machine gun work here as Rapha will drop down onto the heavy, though. And Sib needs to stick around and try and get in on some of these items, as the item control has already snowballed in Rapha's favor. 6 items to 1 for Sib in terms of major items on the map.
Oh, nice rocket coming out there by Sib as he surprised Rapha there with a direct and Rafa's still going to maintain control. And that's the big question I have for you is like, then now Sib's asking himself, okay, how do I even try to get back control? You know, I'm having difficulty even picking up lights, let alone a mega or a heavy. He's going to fight here from the top, but the orb direct to the face, 4-0. And then off of the spawn, the spit comes out, but the LG to try to clean it up. Rafa's actually going to disengage. But that was one hell of a frag.
Yeah, just chipping away with the shotgun and waiting for that perfect opportunity for Sib to peek a little bit too much, and he just got a face full of Dire Orb. And Rapha 4-0 up, 230 in. And again, the item control absolutely bonkers as he hears Sib go through the telly trying to line up a rail here and having a big delay to this heavy. So this is just going to be more and more in Rapha's favor, Wheat, and that's bad news for Sib.
It is. He's held control. There's been only that single heavy by Sib, and now he's going to slow it down a little bit. Coming around the corner, both players tag one another with rockets, but Rapha just will easily pick up that mega, be ready to run right back in. Oh my gosh, the fact that he didn't fall in the pit, I guess he was just perfectly positioned to stay alive there, and he does find another angle for the killing blow with that railgun.
You know, this kind of feels like if I were to enter like a boxing ring against Tyson. It's just trying not to die. It feels like 6-0. What a Dire Orb shotgun combo from Rapha, and it's just hunting season right now. We might as well start calling Rapha Turok in this situation, Weed.
That's exactly right. No bows and arrows here, but he's going to use all the other weapons that he's got. And now, you know, Sib, again, getting even a single major item would be big here, but Rapha has just been gobbling them up. Not a single mega's been picked up here, and you know we're even to the point where Rapha's about ready to match the lights that Sib has, and this is a tough one, despite the sort of you know various layers of Exile. It's pretty amazing just how much control a single player can you know put on another player here on Exile, and we're seeing it right here, right now.
Yeah, good rockets from Sib, but just can't get enough. 50 HP and then a heavy, and then doubles back for the mega. So even when Sib does great damage and gets Rapha low, Rapha just has the majors to fall back on, and Sib is nowhere to be found right now to even contest. And he should, you know, knowing damn well that he did pretty good damage, he should try and show up and do more and to take control, but it looks like he's broken. He's overwhelmed at Rapha's play right now, Weed.
I mean, it's strange, right? When the guy always seems to know exactly where you're at when you're catching rockets or rails just off to the side. There's got to be a layer of frustration to that. So coming out of the teleporter, he is looking around, and you can tell he's checking all of his corners, and boom, there it is as he flies around. Knew exactly where he was at, and then heard him jump into the rocket 9-0 halfway through this matchup.
And that rocket actually makes Rapha get onto the ledge. There's the Dire Orb for the cutoff, and this is just a matter of can you keep away at this point, Weed. That's what it feels like.
He knows exactly where Sib is all the time. And this is obviously causing some trouble for Sib. He almost tags him with the rocket same way he did the first time, but now stuck down below. What's he going to do? Well, there's not much he can do as we see Rapha jump down with that perfectly placed shotgun blast, 10-0. Rocket jump up to the top, sees Sib hanging out over the cliff edge of the heavy, but once again will be evicted from that space before he can even think about grabbing it.
And this is just a huge testament to the dominance of Rapha, where he can force a player to not show up for any items, it feels like. One major item to Sib's name because of just Rapha's playstyle and just the dominance across the map. Like, Sib has no options. He can't do anything. And being locked out this hard is very impressive from Rapha. As the machine gun, relentless right now, missing with the rail, but does have the Dire Orb. If he can get close enough, he could potentially finish with it. Rail. Sib will miss. There's a shotgun. There's a Dire Orb and the shotgun out of the sky. Just absolutely relentless and brutal right now, Wade.
It was. That was a rough one too. I mean, even out of the Dire Orb exit, it seemed like Rapha knew exactly where to position his shotgun to make sure he was going to get that frag. Rapha has an idea. His opponent's down below. He's looking for him. Where's the angle? There it is.
Oh my
Boom!
God!
And Sink Air is on the board. Another heavy picked up. And unfortunately not by Sib. Sib pulling out all the tricks, all the stops, but, you know, Rapha's been around the block a few times, 40, and nothing seems to be working.
I mean, I feel like he's trying to, like, plant all the stops he can. I don't think he's really pulling them out right now, Weed. He wants more stop signs everywhere, but he's going to get caught in the bat cave here. Will take the tick damage, but Rapha knows exactly where he is, so he has the health bubble to mitigate, and now it's just a matter of pushing in, forcing him out. A little bit of extermination. Fumigating with the shotgun into the dire orb. Oh, brutal.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's just like tried to carve out his little piece of the map, and even Rapha was like, "I'm gonna make this room mine too," and was able to act as the exterminator, I suppose. If Sorlak is a pest, I don't know, a giant lizard. But
we've seen her be a pest before, but not so much in this outing. 14-0. Just brutal.
Yeah, not so much. It is. And I mean, you're seeing a showcase of control that I think when every player tries to visualize mentally what they would like their game to be, this is kind of what you're hoping to achieve. However, it doesn't always go that way. So I think what we're seeing is kind of a visualization of what that perfect control game looks like. I mean, again, going back, the pickups are clear. Every cycle has gone to Rapha.
You can't escape. Like, there's nowhere to hide from Rapha. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And statistically, I'm sure Flea is out there writing this down, or at least fact-checking, I hope. But I think statistically, this is probably the most lopsided game in Quake Pro League in terms of items, and maybe even in terms of frags across the set. If it stays true for another 50 seconds, I believe Sib only net 2 frags across 3 maps, Weed.
Yeah. And unfortunate, but, you know, everyone needs their initiation into the QPL, and I think playing Rapha is one of those, you know, forms of initiation. Everyone that's had to or has come out into the Challenger League has gone through something similar.
Oh, no.
And oh no. You are wrong, 40. You are actually wrong.
How?
Maybe.
How did I do that? I didn't even do the caster's curse.
That is the biggest caster's curse that has ever been experienced in the world of Quake. Giving Sib credit to the 2 frags, only to have a suicide off the rocket. Wow, 16 to -1. GG's. Rapha takes it and remains undefeated in both series and in map wins.
And it's, yeah, just the Rapha show. Dan, come on back. I don't know if there's much to say about it, but the champ is the champ. I mean, across all 3 of his champs, he had the title belts in-game as well. Dan, what do you think?
Oh God, I'm muted. Sorry, boys. I was saying it's like
it's okay. It's his first day, chat. Don't worry. Give him a break.
It kind of felt like we're watching National Geographic, where you're seeing one of those scenes where you have the predator just prowling around, and you just know what's going to happen. It was brutal, but I wasn't entertained. If you're going to go out and you're just going to not even bother to try and engage, I don't even know what the point is. You could have. I would much rather go out in flames, and as you said, 40, like, Sib had nothing to lose here, but he didn't even try to put up a fight for large parts of that. And I think we all knew, and he knew, that he was always going to lose, but I don't really see what the point of playing was if you're going to do that, if I'm honest. Like, two heavies, 0 megas, like, he didn't even show up for items. I'm not amused.
Dan, what do you, I mean, right, when Rapha gets that level of control 43 seconds into that matchup, what do you?
I mean, you pick a Sorlak because you have the stack off the spawn so you can push. And I think he broke his backward ski in that game. So that kind of showed you the mentality that he went out with today. It wasn't to play rapha at his own game. It wasn't even try to play his own game. I genuinely don't know what the game plan was.
Right.
And obviously, like, rapha had incredible control from the start, and against any player he's going to win, but at least you have to try and find a way to get back into it, and playing that defensive is not the way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the score lines tell the tale. The damage tells the tale in this one. 4,400 damage to the 2,000 of Sib, and across all the frags, I believe that was about 55 frags. So quite a showcase from rapha, who sits still as the number one seed on the Americas side, showing. And hopefully doesn't detract any other Quake players that are planning to make it through the challengers, or playing the challengers. Like, no, keep going, put in the work. We want to see you. But yeah, rapha is
practice hard. Eat your
rapha's
vitamins.
like, this is what you get to experience if you make it to the QPL, brother.
That's
just
pretty
shoving
much what
his
it
head
is.
down the toilet.
That's pretty much what it is. You put in the work, you put in the effort, and then you too can get slapped around by rapha. And speaking of rapha, I believe we have him in the studio for a little bit of a chat. rapha, congratulations as always. This one seemed a little bit easier than some other weeks, though.
You could say that again. So.
I might.
This seems to be a little bit easier than some of the other weeks, so.
Yeah. Thanks, sweet.
Yeah.
See, this is why it's Father's Day. Just did the dad joke in there.
Every Quake Sunday is Father's Day.
Oh,
we did it.
That's true.
There you go.
That's true.
There you go.
Dan, you want to start it off? Do you have any questions, comments, anything for rapha?
Yeah, my question is a bit more wider. I don't want to talk about that set, if I'm honest. So my question is around, how do you keep your focus, and how do you plan to keep improving your game when you're at the top for so long and people are looking at you to how to beat you? How do you keep one step ahead still, even though people have got all eyes on you and you're kind of adapting your own game from there on out?
I think the word you kind of hit on is adapting. So it's all about making sure that once you're in the game, even though you have like a preset plan against how you want to play your opponent, you need to be able to be reactive and adaptive to the point where you start to get a feel for what they want to do, and you get inside their head and you start imposing your will. And sometimes that's you'll see matches of mine where I get super aggressive just because I know exactly what they want to do, but other times that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to play pedal to the metal. Sometimes it's all about just understanding that, okay, if I start slowing the game down more, they don't really know how to react to it, like how to properly keep playing once the cycle is kind of in a state of limbo. So it's just about reacting to what they're doing and their strengths and weaknesses, and just trying to play to that every single time, and just keep putting in the preparation that I do, because I know that so we've seen Wenger's shape today. He's pretty hungry. So if I want to keep winning, I need to put in that effort.
rapha, congratulations. So here's a question, right? Let's say we are a Quake player. We love playing Quake, and we do find ourselves in a matchup versus maybe, I don't know, one of the greatest Quake players of all time. So what advice would you give to that player who, right, knows that they're gonna lose, is not gonna, and right, imagine it, just say it's me, right? What advice would you say to me to help me learn from the experience?
I will applaud
right?
you. That is like the most fatherly way to skirt around. That's very well done, Marcus.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I would say, in my opinion, I think he took the wrong approach. He was trying to, I think he focused on dying the least and like making sure that he didn't give up free kills, etc. But when you're playing too passive, when players are at my level, like myself, Cypher, Cooler, Razy, Kilson, doesn't matter. We know how to clear rooms. We know how to keep extending our control. Like, what is good positioning when we have all of the items? Like, we can start, like, in a sense, think of it like a heat map. If you're looking down on the map, and the stronger that we get, the bigger that radius gets, that we can extend ourselves to keep looking for you. And it takes a miracle and a half if you just keep hiding to try to pull something off, because even if you kill us, you might not have enough health even after that to then go get items, so you just come off the spawn and get control right back. So it's all about like balancing, trying to win the war of attrition over time and chipping away while also giving yourself an escape. So yeah, I think for him, I just think he needs to try to, essentially try the whole time for contesting control, and because in my opinion today was a waste, waste for him, like in improving. They didn't really get anything out of the game when he had a great opportunity to do so. That's what I would do, if I was in his position, is just use it as a learning experience.
I would agree. Rapha, congratulations again on the 3-0. My question's a little more probably general. We've talked about kind of preparation going into the finals. You start to play a little more, ramp up, but you also focus on eating healthier. And I'm just wondering, after a win like this, do you get any celebratory, like turkey legs to celebrate with after a 3-0, like just on a week-to-week basis? Anything like that? Is it like a DQ Blizzard? Or do you just, you don't really reward yourself until after the finals or anything
like that? If DQ would like to sponsor me, that'd be great, because yes.
I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering. The chat is wondering, how does a champion feast after a 3-0? I think that the world wants to know. So
you just got to treat yourself sometimes, 40. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be much.
I think I treat myself a lot of it. That's the problem. But and I don't win sets 3-0, so.
But no, you're right though about the eating. Like as we get closer to the playoffs, like I'll be eating healthier and healthier. It's almost like think of it like weight training, but with food for your brain.
Like that.
Yeah. Dan's ears perked up immediately. He's like, he gets it.
I mean, we've interviewed Rapha way too much, and this is the line of questioning we're resorting to now.
What's your favorite color? Anyway, congratulations again on the 3-0. Looking forward to seeing you play more and more. And congratulations, and I'm sure we'll see you around.
Nice,
thanks,
man.
40. I appreciate it. And
Congrats,
happy
man.
Father's Day to everyone.
Yep.
Thanks, Rapha.
Take care, guys.
Well, we got one more set coming up, gentlemen. It's going to be Cygib Maxter. Again, if you were tuning in earlier and you expected to see it, we actually bumped that, did a little bit of freestyling, so you didn't miss it. It's coming up shortly. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will wrap up the day with the last featured match of the day.